Good morning, folks. It's a beautiful morning here. Just got a summer rainstorm, and I'm going to pick up our fourth batch of chicks for the year, which is our final spring batch. And I wanted to just show you how we introduce them to the brooder and talk about our brooder setup a little bit. All right, so this is what it looks like. We come and pick up from the from the post office, and these guys can make it in a box for about 48 hours just off the nutrient from their yolk in the egg, and we're gonna get them home and settled in. Before we introduce the chicks, it's important to preheat the shavings so that they have a nice warm area to be introduced to the brooder. We fill their feeders for the first few days and give them free access for the first 4 days that they're in the brooder before we start rationing their feed, and chicks are ready to be introduced. So this is what the box of chicks looks like upon arrival. They can fit comfortably 100 per box, and these guys are cheeping away and ready to be put in their nice new home. Now, what we like to do, instead of picking each chicken up individually, which is a bit stressful for them, is I'll just tilt the box and flick it so they land softly on the wood shavings, and I can get all of them out in 1 or 2 flicks. And it looks a bit harsh, but it's actually a way less stressful means of getting them out of the box and introduced to the brooder. So and you might not be able to see, but they immediately start at pecking away and getting settled right in. We have these nipple waterers set up, 2 of them, and each have about 20 nipples, which is good to service up to 1,000 chickens. And because the nipples are red just above where the water comes out, the chicks are attracted to it immediately, and we don't even have to show them where the water is. They just find it on their own. And the less you can handle chicks in the brooder by hand, the better, the less stressful it is on them. And so you'll see, and something we used to do with typical waterers is dipping every so often, every 20 or 30 chicks' beaks in the water to acquaint them. But with this setup, they get it figured out all on their own. And you can see, this is just minutes after introducing them. They're extremely active, they're feeding, they're getting under light and settling in very nicely. We have some box fans set up in here for when they get a little bigger on hot days, get some airflow. And it's important to have the fans well above chick height so you can get circulation without a draft on their bodies. But 3 weeks in here, and then they go out onto pasture. We're fortunate to have this barn with a loft. So on the other side of this wall is the brooder, and simple plumbing with poly pipe up into the loft, into this 50-gallon drum that we have hooked up to a spigot on a float valve. And so this just remains on, and the chicks have constant access to fresh water, and I check it periodically. Anytime you automate an element of the farm, it's good to keep your eye on it. But by having this system where gravity is feeding the nipple waterers and this stays full all the time, it's cut our labor in the brooder dramatically. one of the biggest pinch points in terms of labor when taking care of chicks in the brooder is refilling and cleaning waters, making sure they're not leaking, and making sure that the bedding stays dry. So this has been a major improvement. I recommend it to anyone who can. So that's it for today's video. Just wanted to show you our brooder setup, how we introduce chicks. They're getting settled in for the first hour or so. They're a bit noisy, but then they quiet down and start to relax. Please make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.